Today is Sunday, September 14th, and this is another update on my progress of beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these updates every Sunday, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Since my last update, Pershing Square had a gain of 6.04%, my portfolio had a gain of 2.30, and the S&P 500 had a gain of 1.59, which brings us year to date. Pershing Square is now in first place with a 30.08% gain. My portfolio is at a gain of 26.43 and the S&P 500 is at a gain of 12.20. If we take a look at the earnings calendar for this week, the only company that I follow that reports is going to be FedEx, and their earnings are going to be released this Thursday. I don't hold FedEx in my portfolio currently, but it's always good to be aware of when companies do report. If we take a look at the events calendar for this week, on Tuesday you'll see that we get the US retail sales. Definitely the most important event being the Federal Reserve meeting is going to be on Wednesday at 2:30 in the afternoon. We'll take a look at the CME Group FedWatch Outlook tool next to see what they predict for the rate cuts. And then we finish it off Thursday with the initial jobless claims. If we check out the CME Group's FedWatch Outlook tool, you'll see that the probability of a quarter basis point cut at the Wednesday meeting has increased to 96.4%, so pretty much a guarantee at this point. If we go to the October meeting, there's currently an 81.0% chance of an additional quarter basis point cut, bringing us to a half a point in total. And then it's going to be the December meeting that's got me at least a little bit worried. Powell has stated numerous times that he only expects 2 more cuts this year, but currently it's showing a 76.3% chance of an additional quarter basis point cut, bringing us to 3 quarter basis point cuts in total with all 3. I'm worried because if the markets expect a third cut, the moment Powell says once again only expect 2, the markets might react negatively to that. So we'll just have to wait and see what he says on Wednesday to give us a better idea. This is what the SPY chart's going to look like right now. For the last update, we were trading right here, and at that point we were still above the 5-day and the 15-day moving average and this longer term green trend line. I said for the week that just happened, it was going to be super important that we didn't actually cross below this long-term green trend line. And the reason for that was it was going to be important that the SPY price didn't drop below this old previous low, because the previous 3 lows were higher than the one before that. So if that did happen, that would indicate possibly a market reversal. It actually had a really strong week. The only down day was going to be on Friday, and it wasn't even down all that much, only 0.048%. And where the SPY price closed at on Thursday is going to be its new all-time high. So everything's still exactly where we want it. The SPY price is above the 5-day, and both of those are still above the 15. And from where the SPY price is right now, if it was to drop back down to that long-term green trend line, it would indicate a 2.35% drop. So since the end of July, when we've had 4 new all-time highs, they've all followed with a temporary dip. So that wouldn't surprise me to see it happen again, especially with Jerome Powell's Fed meeting on Wednesday. So for that reason, I am going to keep my portfolio exactly the same, and I don't expect to make any changes at least until after Wednesday. These are going to be all 14 of my current positions. Right now, Nvidia, Microsoft, Palantir, Meta, and Welltower make up my top 5, and those make up 39.42% of my portfolio. Definitely my biggest winner on the week is going to be Dave with a 17.86% increase, which now puts it at a 92.5% gain in my portfolio. It is just my 10th overall position. Earlier in the year, I had pretty large gains in it, and I believe it got up to either my number 1 position or at least number 2, and I trimmed quite a bit to lock in profits. I just think that the current valuation is too high for me to comfortably have it make up a larger part of my portfolio right now. I do have 82.69% of my portfolio invested, which leaves me with 17.31 sitting in cash. Like I mentioned earlier, I am at least going to wait until after Jerome Powell's Fed meeting on Wednesday before making any changes to my portfolio. That's going to do it for today. I do make these updates every Sunday, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next Sunday.